Chiefs Broncos. Broncos 9.5-point favorites at home. 38.5 points is the over/under. Obviously, Carson Wentz, your starter in this one. Kyle, let's start with you. What do you think we see from old Wentzzy?
Dude, it's either going to be one of the worst things we saw all year, or one of the most pleasant surprises we've seen all year. One thing I can guarantee is that Carson Wentz, at a number of junctions in this game, will flex his athleticism. If you're not going to have your best players on the field, that means that there are going to be a few swing offensive linemen in there. I'm imagining Joe Thuney and Creed Humphrey at the very minimum are on the sideline with their wrists taped in an emergency situation. But there's going to be guys like Wanye Morris, Kingsley Suamataia. Thanks, Renner, for the preseason pronunciation tape on that. I think I've nailed it. There are going to be some pockets that are less than desirable. And Carson Wentz is going to have the opportunity to get out of dodge. And with the way that these edge rushers and the interior rushers, you talked about Allen and Bonito, with the way that these guys get after the quarterback, it's going to be your blind side and right up your field of view is going to be in question. So we're going to find out how much youth Carson Wentz has in those legs. We used to love his athleticism. And if it's only 1 week, it's 1 week, Carson. Lay it out there on the line. It's like Adam Sandler in The Longest Yard. You just got to play your nuts off for this one game and beat the Denver Broncos and force your division rival to go home, hit the ski slopes. I think it'll be a lot of fun. It's going to be can't miss TV. Obviously, I'm rooting for the Chiefs in this one. But at the end of the day, the Broncos should handle business, guys. The Broncos should handle business against Carson Wentz.
Oh, trust me. The Chiefs want the Broncos to handle business. We were talking about potentially the Eagles throwing a game to hurt the Giants. Do you think, Kyle, that the Chiefs want the Bengals to somehow get into the playoffs?
Dude, that narrative doesn't scare me at all. I was there in 2021 when Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase came to Arrowhead, and Dan Sorensen and the rest of the secondary had a little bit of trouble adjusting. And I think our guy Jamar Chase had like 220 yards, and I'm over there on the sideline without a headset, and I'm talking to myself like, hey, maybe we should rotate somebody over there. At the end of the day, look, the Chiefs take tremendous pride in winning games, particularly against divisional opponents. And I think that regardless of who is coming into the party, whether it's Joe Burrow or Joe Dirt, they don't care. They just want to win football games. It's part of their culture. It's like if you were to say, Tom Brady and the New England Patriots were afraid of X, Y, or Z team entering the playoffs, I would say that you're wrong. This team is just better than the Cincinnati Bengals. In fact, I think this version of the Kansas City Chiefs would almost invite that because they hate Cincinnati so much. It's not a fear thing. It's a respect thing for Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow's done it. We've seen it time and time again. But let's not kid ourselves. This is not the same team. It's not the same defense that came and beat the Kansas City Chiefs at Arrowhead. And that poor taste is still in their mouths. Anytime I say anything positive about Joe Burrow, I get flooded in my mentions by Chiefs fans who just can't wait to point out how much better the Chiefs are than the Bengals and Mahomes, Burrow. And, the latter of those two, the conversation is always up for debate, and I'm here to listen to it. But at the end of the day, the Chiefs ain't scared of nobody. And, yeah, I think you're going to get your best shot from the Kansas City Chiefs. Granted, it's with Carson Wentz and a bunch of backups. But that matters to them. And these guys train all year for an opportunity to get into a game. These backup players, it's going to be their best shot. I would imagine Matt Nagy gets to be kind of an impromptu head coach in this football game, with him being a potential hire somewhere, like a sleeper hire. And it could be a lot of fun. Either way, the Broncos should win this game, and you are going to get your best shot from the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah,
my mom used to have a saying, Mike.
Yeah,
and I just want to give it to Kyle real quick because he talked about the Chiefs potentially not being scared. I'm not saying they're scared. I don't think they fear anybody. But this was the saying: "Scared money." Dang, I just forgot what I was about to say. Dang it, Kyle, you made me forget what I was going to say.
Scared money don't make no money.
Oh yeah, scared money don't make no money, but it don't lose it either. In other words, you got to be smart, right? If you're the Kansas City Chiefs, your Achilles heel has been the Bengals. Now, to our producer Harry's point, right? if the Miami Dolphins win, should the Broncos lose, the Miami Dolphins will get in instead of the Bengals. But the Miami Dolphins haven't proven they can win in cold weather. So we'll see how that is versus Jets this week.
Yep.
But
we don't even know if Tua's playing either.
Yes, you don't fear anybody. But trust me and believe, they don't want the Bengals. The rest of the AFC doesn't want the Bengals in just because of what Joe Burrow and that offense can do. They can go toe-to-toe with anybody, right? Again, scared money don't make no money, but it don't lose it either.
I tend to agree that the Chiefs, if they had their pick, the Bengals would be the last of the teams that are potentially in.